All right, in this video, we are going to evaluate these limits in these questions over here. And we're going to see a similar process in all of them. It's going to involve rationalizing the square roots, basically. So let's take a look at the first question. For every limit question, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to sub in my limit into the question for x. So root of 4 is 2, 2 minus 2 is 0. So I get 0 on the top. And then 4 minus 4 is 0, which is 0 on the bottom. And this is an indeterminate form, which means we can't use this as a solution. So we have to simplify. When you have a square root, generally you rationalize the equation. So in order to rationalize this square root, I'm going to multiply both the top and bottom. Let me just write the question to begin with. I'm going to multiply the top and bottom by the same thing with the square root, but I'm going to change the sign on the outside. I'm going to multiply the top and bottom by root x plus 2 to rationalize. Now keep in mind that everything is going to be in brackets here because we're going to FOIL out all our terms. So now let's multiply. You only have to multiply out the brackets that have the square roots. So for example, in the bottom here, I'm just going to leave that in factored form. You should not multiply it out. If you multiply it out, you will not get the right solution. We're only going to multiply out the top because that one has both the square roots, which we're going to rationalize. Now root x times root x is just x. Root x times 2 is 2 root x, and negative 2 times root x is negative 2 root x. Those two middle terms will always cancel each other out. That's the whole point of rationalizing. So I'm not going to write down, actually, I'll just write it down for this first question so it makes sense to you. And then negative 2 times 2 is just minus 4. As you can see, these two terms are identical but opposite signs, so they'll cancel out, and these two will cancel out in every rationalizing question. So just keep that in mind. So now I'm just left with lim x approaches 4, x minus 4 on the top, and on the bottom I have x minus 4 times root x plus 2. Now I can just cancel x minus 4 and x minus 4. So I'm just left with lim x approaches 4, 1 over root x plus 2. And after cancellation, you can sub in your limit. So if I sub in 4 into this equation, I'll get 1 over root 4 plus 2, which is 1 over 2 plus 2, which is just 1 over 4. So my final solution for this first question is 1 over 4. Let's go to this second question over here. Again, if I sub in 0, I'll get 2 minus square root of 4, which is 2 minus 2, which is 0. And then the bottom is also 0. So again, it's indeterminate, which means I have to rationalize. I'm going to rewrite the question again. So to rationalize, I'm going to multiply the top and bottom by the same thing as the square root, but change the sign only on the outside. So I'm going to multiply by 2 plus root 4 plus x on the top and the bottom. So now I will expand the top, but I will leave the bottom the exact same. Remember, in some questions, you actually have to rationalize the bottom, not the top. It just depends where the square root is in the original equation, but in these questions, the square roots are in the top, so I'm rationalizing the top, which means I'll just write the bottom out in factored form, and now I'll expand the top. So 2 times 2 is 4. The two middle terms will cancel each other out, so I'm not even going to write that. Negative times positive is negative, and root of 4 plus x times root of 4 plus x is just 4 plus x, but make sure you put a bracket here because there are multiple terms in the square root, or you will end up with the wrong solution. So then you just want to distribute this negative into the bracket. So we have 4 minus x. Bottom is x, 2 plus root 4 plus x. You can combine like terms in the top. 4 minus 4 is just 0. You just have negative x over x, 2 plus root 4 plus x. And then I can cancel x and x. So then I just have lim x approaches 0, negative 1 over 2 plus root 4 plus x. After cancellation, I can sub in my limit of 0. 4 plus 0 is just 4. So I just have negative 1 over 2 plus root 4. Root of 4 is 2. And then 2 plus 2 is 4. So my final answer for this question is negative 1 over 4. And let's go to the third and final question for this video. Again, it's just practice of the similar stuff over here, so nothing too different. So if I sub in 0 into this, 7 minus 0 is just 7, and 7 plus 0 is 7. Root 7 minus root 7 is just 0 on the top, 0 on the bottom. So again, this is 0 over 0, which is indeterminate form, so I have to rationalize. In this case, I'm going to multiply the top by root 7 minus x, and I'll change this minus to a plus because rationalizing, you have to change the sign in between the terms, and then just this is the exact same. We'll multiply the exact same thing on the bottom. Oops, 7. So now I'll just start by rewriting the bottom in factored form because there's nothing happening over there. X root 7 minus x plus root 7 plus x. And top, I will expand the top. So first term times first term, root of 7 minus x times root of 7 minus x is just 7 minus x. Middle two terms will cancel each other out, so I'm not going to worry about the middle two terms. Negative times positive is negative. Again, we have root of 7 plus x times root of 7 plus x. That's just 7 plus x, but again, make sure to put in a bracket because there are multiple terms there. We'll simplify the top by distributing this negative into the bracket. Then we'll combine like terms in the top. 7 minus 7 is just 0. Negative x minus x is minus 2x. Bottom still stays the exact same. And now I can cancel this x and this x. So I'm just left with lim x approaches 0, negative 2 over, oh, I guess I don't need a bracket anymore. 7 minus x plus root 7 plus x. Now that I've done the cancellation, I can sub in my limit of 0. So that's just going to be negative 2 over 7 minus 0. That's just root 7 plus, again, 7 plus 0 is just root 7. Root 7 plus root 7 is just 2 root 7. Then these twos can cancel. So you're left with the final solution of negative 1 over root 7. If you had to rationalize this, which most people don't, but if you did, you could write it as negative root 7 over 7. I just multiplied the top and bottom by root 7. If you made it to the end of this video and you found this content helpful, please hit that like and subscribe button. Thank you for watching and have a wonderful day.